Hello there. We are, as I record this, a few minutes past the exactness of a new moon, very close to the solstice of 2024, in Sidereal Capricorn? Nope, sorry. Sidereal Sagittarius and tropical Capricorn. Because the Capricorn solstice is the wheel of the year for the Western world. And I have an idea that we can say the solstice and know that we mean winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere. I hope that catches on because there's a lot of stumbling around about it. It just means that the sun is closest to the earth in the southern hemisphere and farthest away in the northern. And that whole thing, not half of it, is the symbol, is the astrological symbol. 2025 is going to challenge us to embrace both sides of polarities. That's what we're missing collectively in our consciousness, and that's also what we're moving toward. So that's our goal, right? Is to be able to hold two opposing ideas with one mind and bring them toward unity. Because it's only unity that's going to save us. That's a message. So back in the home ground here, we have a few more beautiful pieces of the earth with us. Gorgeous gifts of the Yule season. Gorgeous gifts from the solstice. And I want to ask you, before I pray over these cards, would you like a 2025 reading and summary astrologically? If that's something that you're interested in hearing from me, go ahead and put it down below. I'm not really interested in creating some sort of fame with any of this. What I'm trying to do is create a log for myself, and these are video journals. So it's astrological. It's a chart of cycles, right? Because that's what the moons are about. At the new moon, like this one, the sun and the moon, the cosmic father and the cosmic mother, come together. And the idea that Dane Rudyard has put out is that they bring from the vast region of space, the sun brings its energy, and from its orbit around the earth, the moon in her empathy brings a request, something more cosmic energy could come toward to improve conditions for all beings on earth. And as it goes from new moon to waxing moon, to full moon, to waning moon, and back to new, the answer that comes through the moon, because it needs to be filtered for us, right? We can't take the whole cosmic download at once. It's a process. It's a cycle that is fully fleshed out in a cycle, in a life cycle. So that's why we want to keep track of the moon in our lives, where it is, where it falls in our chart, because it tells us something about the cycle and the process that we can expect to move through. So I hope these are helpful to you. This new moon reading for the tropical new moon in Capricorn and the sidereal new moon in Sagittarius is talking to us about changing belief systems, solidifying what has inner meaning, and paring away the ways in which the outside world has been influencing us negatively. Gabor Mate always asks the question, have you ever had the experience of getting an internal read on something, going against what you knew you should have done, and then being disappointed with yourself and thinking, I should have followed my initial thought? That initial thought, that way of thinking and being where you trust yourself, the entire natural world depends on that. And all of these cycles that we just described depend on you being able to use that, use your instinct, use your intuition. If you're not following your internal guidance, or you have no connection with that, this is a great time to start working with it. It does involve boundaries. It does involve learning to keep some things that are not healthy for you outside. So think about that at a moon that is sextile to the planet of limitations, Saturn. It's square the nodes of fate. And it's got that ding-dang Mars-Pluto opposition, you guys. And I am really hoping that January 1st, where it goes exact, Mars and Pluto opposition, that it's explosive illuminating, right? Like it's something very revealing, or something, lost piece of knowledge that we need, but it does look lit. January 1st looks a little macabre. This chart of the new moon also has the exact square of Saturn and Jupiter retrograde, and this is that hallmark series of connections that we've been working with since 2006 and brought us that massive level of change that was initiated around the year 2020. That's all I'm going to say about that because of algorithms. But I don't really care about algorithms, right? If you find value in this, that's great. It's really more for me, sorry. That same Saturn is also in a square relationship with Mercury, so I'm hoping that my communication is good today. There are limitations to what we can do intellectually in a time like this. And with that impetus, that big boom from Mars and Pluto, we feel like there's something we need to do, but we just don't know what it is. And back to what I said before, it's not about knowing. It's about your intuition and your instinct working together. Instinct below the waist, intuition above the waist. These are the most important senses that you have. And I really hope that everyone will work to hone these in 2025. I know that's what I'm going to be doing. Uranus retrograde is square to Venus right now. There's a lot of tension and change around feminine energy. And because this new moon is in Purva Ashada, which is an initiating star, a star of new beginnings that are invincible, but it's also very feminine and very watery, and 2025 is very watery. We might see some big changes coming for women that consolidate us and bring us closer into teams. You know the polarity story. It's been happening on Planet 3 since long before 2020, but it has accelerated since then. And we have another iteration of that Saturn and Jupiter square that's going to come in June that's going to be very significant. Now, just to tie up everything that I'm seeing at this particular new moon, we want to be mindful that there's a square to Chiron, and that speaks to the wound that we have in Aries, the initiation wound, and this whole kind of jerky, I can't quite get started, but I feel like I need to do something is also reflected in that. So that is definitely part of that Pluto-Mars story. And then it's sextile to Vertex, which is my understanding of Vertex is the sign of Kundalini energy. Everything that happens to us throughout 2025 has its solution, its best way of being in the depth of spirituality, and we can do that best, in my humble opinion, by understanding and relating to our instinct and our intuition. It's an internal process that we're coming into a deeper understanding of and with. Mars in its retrograde is also going to be trining the nodes of fate. And as we move toward the eclipses that are coming up, especially that eclipse in March, March the 29th, I hope to have some special offerings around that, because that's one that I'm really going to need to understand myself. We're looking at between 6 and 7 planets in Pisces, the oceanic sign of the cosmic fog machine, Neptune. And this lack of clarity persists and could reveal something then or in the 6 months afterward. So let me pray over this. As I walk, the universe is walking with me. The universe is walking with me. In beauty it walks before me. In beauty it walks behind me. In beauty it walks below me. In beauty it walks above me. Beauty is on every side. As I walk with beauty. Peace in me, peace surrounding me, peace from me, peace within me. Om Shanti. In our next lunar cycle, which begins right now, we are represented by the symbol of spider. Ooh, good one, guys. It's a 7 card. This is a healing energy. Remind yourself of the star a little bit in the Rider-Waite Tarot. This is about weaving of language. And one of the things, well, the primordial languages, right? The basis of all biological life. I'm thinking about the way a spider builds the web so carefully that it has knowledge of where to put its feet so it doesn't get caught in its own machination. And that is a bit of a problem right now. In trying to feed ourselves, we have gotten caught up in our own machinations, and we've started hoarding, right? Having too much food that we can't use, having too much information that no longer registers, having too much data connections that don't mean anything. What we're looking for and what we maybe have lost is the original thread of the web. We've lost the meaning, and we need to find it again so that we can go forward in ways that feed us, that nourish us. Capricorn and Sagittarius are both questing, ambitious sorts of energies, where Capricorn is questing and ambitious about material things and building structures. Sagittarius is ambitious about belief and in Purva Shada about gathering resources. We are doing that to our own detriment, and we need to look at our connections. And this new moon is a great time, of course, new year, and looking at it that way, to decide what's essential and what's non-essential. Spider did that for us at the beginning of time and has carried us this far. This is also new moon, which is particularly auspicious for the observance of ancestor worship or ancestor gratitude, is the way I like to put it. And this is a very smart being. This may creep you out. It does me a little bit. I have a bias. I have a prejudice that I acknowledge. I find arachnids very difficult to cohabitate with. But this is their planet. There's literally more green blood on this planet than there is red blood. And it's always been theirs. And as much as I have fear around that, I have always acknowledged it. I think that speaks a little bit to capitalism's pogrom about taking indigenous lands. And that is the big reckoning of 2025 and 26, in my opinion, is, who gets the right to live on planet Earth and how much does it cost? She did it without it costing anybody anything, and nature has a process in place. Okay, I've done a lot on this card, but you can tell it's big emotional feeling, and I think that's also talking about whatever this Pluto-Mars thing is going to end up being. Whatever it is, it's going to be hugely emotional, and we're going to need all of our mindfulness practices in order to be able to listen to our instinct and our intuition. May it be so for us. May our teacher here teach us how to weave a new way that we can walk out of our complicated web and into a new life. Well, I'm just praying all the time these days. Can't help it. All right. So we are crossed in this energy by Spirit. This is not really a card that you want to get crossed by. And I think it's an important thing to do. We are coming to a nexus. I mean, what is the point of life on a planet if you're not doing the work that's difficult to do? And I think we are, and I think we have been. I think what's beautiful about what's coming is that there are structures that we're all very emotionally attached to that have just got to go. And that's why the tension, that's why the emotional conflict within us is because we don't know what's next. And when you are connected to Spirit, it doesn't matter what's next because you ever are. You're an eternal being. Now, I do understand that a lot of people don't think about life that way. I think we probably have some of the first, third generation agnostics in the world living here now. And that is absolutely everybody's right and way of being that I would not change for them. However, if it alienates you from your instinct and your intuition, then it does make you less fit to live on a planet where biological organisms are the rule and not the exception. You have to be connected to that little woo inside you, but we got it tangled up with all the other things in the world, the food systems, the money systems, the political systems. And all of those are fading away because real life doesn't bear that out, right? That kills a planet. And when you kill a planet, you get sideways with Spirit. And that is a number one. It is the priority of this reading. And I would go ahead and say probably the priority of 2025. So this is founded in Mother Earth. Also a 1 as it reduces down. It's turtles all the way down, folks. We've gotten sideways with Spirit because we are over intellectualized, too data connected, and we have forgotten to touch grass. It's a capitalist problem. And it's okay, you know? I mean, there are cycles of unity and separation that have to play out. The way of it is to depart and return. But you bring back what you learned. And either at this stage of the game, you love a healthy environment and you want to strive toward that, or you don't. Either way is absolutely fine. You must move in the way that you are impelled to do, because we each represent a part of spirit which is necessary. But losing our connection to our foundation makes us like leaves in the wind. Capricorn is the structure of the material foundation. Sagittarius is the structure of the non-physical foundation. Check in with both in your life is what this reading seems to be saying to me, and I think that's a beautiful message, frankly. We are crowned by transmutation, taking poison and turning it into medicine. The difference between the poison and the cure is the dose. And all of us have been on a 6,000-year bender, right? This reading thus far reiterates the intuition that came through in the blog post. I'll hopefully remember to leave you a link down below. I'll make it public right after this. The intuition is that the Great Mother Goddess is the 6,000, she's being born through the 6,000-year birth canal of patriarchy. And that's how it goes, right? It goes from inhale to exhale. It goes from inspiration to purification. And this is the card of doing that. We each have to take it seriously in our own lives and in our own ways, because we're killing a planet here. So we got to clean up our acts, and we need to take the poisons that have been visiting us, and through whatever spiritual means, whatever practice you use, be it physical, spiritual, baking soda, I don't care, use it and put that idea that we want to leave a planet for the next 7 generations at the front of your priority list. If you do like New Year's resolutions, or if you're an intention person. I'm not an intention person, but this is one of the founding philosophies of my very philosophical mind, is that somehow we have to find a way to give the children what we had. We cannot loot the future. And to do that, we're going to have to drink some of our own poison. We're going to have to transmute what we have decayed, what we have despoiled. We are moving away from buffalo. My friend just sent me a really funny video where they called this a fubalo. This is prayer in abundance. This is right intention. This is effortless, appropriate action. This is following your instinct and your intuition and knowing that you're connected. I think this means that we're about to be connected in a new way. And I kind of think also that that's what the Mars-Pluto opposition will usher in. This is a 1. It reduces to a 1. This reduces to a 1. This reduces to a 1. This is healing because it reduces to a 7. And this number 6 is the planet of, it is the number, the numerical vibration of Venus, of connection, of beauty, right? And so this one is fundamental. There's a sense here that we have really gotten away from, this is what we're moving away from, something that's fundamental, a basic love and understanding of nature herself, a basic way to fit in with natural processes, and we're perverting that, and it seems urgent that we stop doing that, both inwardly and outwardly, with this reading. We are moving toward stamina. A 3, right? The Trinity here. So this is body, mind, and spirit lasting. And, you know, I have kind of turned my back on a lot of different ways of being in the world that don't seem to me like they're going to last. I am taking a gamble with that. I could very much be wrong, you know, and maybe crowdfunding out here, not too far in the distant future. However, I think that we should all live in alignment with our beliefs. And I'm willing to take the risk that I will outlast some of these systems. I really feel like in 2025 and 2026, we're going to be able to turn this battleship around, but it is going to take some focus and attention. And this is like a spiritual focus and attention that we seem to have lost the plot on. It has material consequences. This is kind of getting the material consequences back in a line so that you can work backward toward the primordial spiral, toward transmuting the poison. And that may be the only way that we can do it, right? The only way that we can transmute the poison that we've put on this planet right now would be to outlast it. Elk, endurance, vitality, life force, configured and aligned in a way that lasts. That's what we're moving toward. Can't be bad. That cannot be a bad thing. My moonstone is going to go to the top. Isn't this thing gorgeous? I don't know if you can see the shine. I just love the spirals. This was a gift. Oh, sorry. I can show you a little bit. See if it works. Anyway, it's just a lovely, there it is, transforming piece of the earth that's here with us. We are becoming the giveaway turkey. And this is a 4. This is a foundation. I like this as a foundational card. More concerned with the benefit and the comfort of others than our own. It's the potlatch ceremony where you show how much you actually have by giving it away. You show who you are by your level of non-attachment to the material world. And there is a theme here of moving between, spiritual and material in a more adept way, in a more deft way, in a way that lasts. Definitely with that spider card, because of the trickiness of the web. You have to know where to step to not get caught. You have to know how to move with your instinct and your intuition in order to be of maximum benefit to others and to yourself. Honor others, but first honor you and honor the gifts that you give and what you bring to the situation. That's not an easy thing to become. It's very contextual. It's going to move from moment to moment. But I do hope that you're able to find what that means for you, because it'll be something different for each one of us individually. We all have gifts, and we need to give each other our gifts now, more so than anything. This gorgeous little carnelian. All right. All around us in this moment, deception. This is a 3 card as well, matching the 3 of this elk. There's something about this moon, man. Like, you might think you've got some way that you want to move forward in the world, but I'm telling you, just sit on it. At least the first 3 days, and wait until you see that little sliver of the moon. All these people, the happy intention crowd, you know, people who feel like they get to tell the universe what to do. You might want to sit. You might want to give it a minute. You might want to pay some more attention to what's coming in rather than your output, because there's secrets. There's deception out there. And maybe that's that Mars-Pluto, that explosive revelation. Sure, I mean, we know that there are tons of secrets that we're not being told. It's not going to be televised, this revolution. It's going to be in your body. It's going to be, that's the People's Oracle, straight up, you guys. Listen to Dana Lynn Nichols. She's brilliant. You're going to feel what you need to do, but you're not going to know it. It's not going to be intellectual. Too much is not revealed, because in the spirit realm, it's not visible, right? You have to be in touch with your unconscious to get toward some of this information. And it's not data. It's not going to be more data. It's not information like we like to think of it. It's not coming to us through the evening news. It's what you feel. And if you don't have a connection to feeling in your body, if you don't have a knowing that you weave, where you get rid of the poison and you ensure your own stamina and you are fortified from within, abundant from within, knowing, right? Abundance in prayer. Then there's the real possibility of harm. And we don't want harm. Our hopes and fears, loyalty. And it's a 5 card because that's a changing way of being. 5s are, kind of transforming numbers. Dogs, of course, if you know me, that's my favorite. They're my favorite people. They're the ones I spend the most time with. They're my community. They learn from the earth through their paws. It's a whole other discussion, but that's why the booties with the plastic on the bottom of them don't work. Get the ones that are made of cloth. They're in communication with the earth and loyal to biological life before anything else. They will sacrifice themselves. And that kind of giveaway in the face of deception can be laudable. But what we want to do is outlast the bastards, right? In the change that's coming, in the change that's needed to save biological life on planet 3, we have to be loyal to the earth, loyal to our instinct and to our intuition. That's what dogs teach. Loyalty to what you know in your central nervous system. And in the case of Capricorn, what you know in the bones. In the case of Sagittarius, what you know in the legs and the feet. What you know from your contact with the earth and in your body. Okay, so we are finishing building. And this is a 4. This is a foundation card. Beaver is building. There's a near constant Oh, I like this. There is a near constant busyness in our lives, at least in Western cultures. We don't know how to relax. We don't know how to self-soothe, calm, and maintain emotional stability. And some of that is by design, yes, but think about it. You didn't grow up with it, chances are, unless you were very lucky. You didn't grow up with emotionally stable people. Because capitalism runs everybody ragged. And that building, that constant forward advance, that endless growth is cancer. Cancer cells are cells that are immortal and they do not die. Everything in the biological world comes to an end. Everything is given away and recycled and brought back to a new purpose. We have to stop building and let some of these things recycle themselves. We are finishing building transmutation. We're transmuting what we've built. The energy that we've used to build is now going into this place where we're going to change what's poison into something life-giving that will give us stamina, that will give us endurance toward moving into the future. So in this spiral, she begins this weaving, right? And is crossed by the spirit. We made a mistake. There's a way of thinking that we're not doing as well as we can, but we've got all these technological advances and we've got the ability to feed, house, give everybody electricity, education, clean water. What we lack is the will to do it because we're not connected to ourselves biologically. We're not connected to ourselves as animals. And we have to transmute the energy that we've spent building back into the earth itself. We have to perform the giveaway. We need to become the eagle that gives away its bounty, its wonderful abundance needs to be transmuted. And we would do this, but there are deceptions that are keeping us from being loyal to the earth and loyal to our own bodies, keeping us loyal to this busyness that we need to finish. Again, giveaway turkey and eagle were both at one time being considered for the official bird of the United States. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the 150 whatevers that Joe Biden just signed. So now we have someone who's tipped the scale into what's crossing us. We need to look at that and we need to think about the earth. Ooh, badger. Aggression. I don't think that's too secret. That it's coming one way or another, right? There's going to be a bit of a conflict, and this reading seems to be about that. Whether we want to remain on the wrong side of spirit and continue mindlessly building forward, or if we want to recycle some of that and transmute the poison so that we can continue to endure in the way that our primordial ancestors and the owners of this planet seem to want us to do. Thank you very much for your attention with this. Happy New Year to you. Happy education, learning to deal calmly with your own emotions so that you can endure through the poison that we put here to make ourselves stronger. Thank you.